choice for your carry like Arteezy. Really, their entire plan was pretty easy to figure out. Protect Arteezy, hope that he does well, protect the other cores, and that's it. A little bit of split push would be nice, a little bit of alternate, ideas, Grant. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. Somebody's gonna drop that basket of balloons, and those chickens are gonna run.
What the hell are you saying?
Whenever you're ready, Grant, you can pick that one up. Oh, hey, look at that Darkseer first pick there. Ooh, that's pretty good. One of the better heroes in this patch. I think he has one of the highest pick rates and win rates, if my statistics are correct. And considering I never looked them up, I have no idea if they are.
Good.
Thank you.
I think it's the same bands coming out for both teams, so even with EG on first pick, they go for the Darkseer this time. And yeah, like you said, it just provides a lot of team fight. In this game, like, you can build around him instead of like doing something like a last pick Darkseer where you're forced to we got to win a team fight to do anything. This time you can just build around and do anything else.
Well, we've seen against Darkseer quite a bit. The Ix Assassin, who's been a high priority, that one spanned away. What are some of the other heroes that are picked up frequently against a Darkseer opener?
Well, I don't think you really can when they just go with the Juggernaut Crystal Main right away.
I got one for you, baby. Now, This is an old one. This is a classic.
Oh, this is oldie?
Let me show you some Oracle, huh? Remember those days?
Slacks, I already tried to bring up the Oracle earlier on this panel. It didn't go well.
Now, I know that currently he has the worst win rate in competitive Dota for a while, but...
He's possibly the worst hero that's ever been in Dota, period.
Indeed. Could pick it, though. They're actually going to go with a Razor on Team Evil Geniuses. That's really interesting. I mean, we were very critical of what they did in that last series, and here we go again. They're going to stick to their guns. Is that a good idea?
Well, surely this is going to be more of a safe lane, not putting him try versus try.
Yeah, it's going to be an offlane Darkseer who's going to find farm pretty much any time throughout the game. So, I mean, you just throw him out there, he's going to find farm. Meanwhile, Razor gets farm, you just push a little bit early. And
I mean, that being said, surely Razor can still match up against Juggernaut tri-lane.
It's going to be rough. If Crystal Main just goes on him, he spins before he gets that link off, and then it's just curtains for them.
Could have feathered. We'll go back to that aggro tri-lane solution. Newbee, in the meantime, they needed a self-sufficient core. Juggernaut probably being one of the best, having that healing ward. Other heroes that we saw, maybe like Lycan, haven't really seen too much success, despite the earlier pick rates against Darkseer.
Yeah, I'm actually really I'm confused on why people don't pick Troll that much. I mean, Troll seems to have a very nice win rate.
Have you been watching this tournament?
Well, not that much in this series. I mean, he wasn't very high.
There's only been one game, but yeah.
Well, yeah, he wasn't. He was late. Well, listen, man, let me get through myself. You're like an animal, all right?
He does have a 33% win rate at this tournament.
Hey, that's the lucky number right there. 33% tournament win rate. That's almost half.
Slacks, don't go to the casino. I'm just gonna save you now, buddy. Don't go.
We're not seeing a lot of bans though, and we didn't see him get picked up last time, so I'm surprised. He's a pretty nice answer to some of this stuff.
I think one of the bigger things is Sumail, they didn't first pick his hero this time. It's crazy because you picked the Quap to try to go up against the puck, and it didn't really counter him. This time they're going to save their hero, so maybe Sumail, if he gets a better matchup, can dominate it better with like a more physical damage, like later game hero. After we saw how well he did.
Yeah, particularly with both your cores being picked up in the first one, too. Yeah. There's no way you want to reveal all three from the get-go. So looking at supports here. Supports that deal with Juggernaut, and now the off-lane potential of a Clockwork. There's a nice team-fighting support that also has a decent amount of roaming potential. I feel like he's kind of like the Troll of supports, He's kind of good at everything.
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything there. I can get behind that. I'm just a big fan from the level 25, the gigantic turret. Or how do you say that? I say it wrong. Turret?
Torrent?
Torrent. There's no O in that word. It's a U. Wait,
no,
there is.
It's an O.
That is an O. All right. Torrent. Pretty neat.
Is this some advanced form of dyslexia? Or?
No, it's I speak another language. It's called winning is the language I speak. Anyway, Grant, you haven't said anything of substance so far. What do you got anything for
Just following suit with you, my friend. Oh, they pick up a Kunkka. I noticed it's a good Zai here. It's a good roaming hero. It's one of those heroes that, like, if you have an advantage, you're pushing forward, trying to chase, you get an X on someone, just makes it easier. It's easy to, like, if you do want to run, like, a tri-lane versus tri-lane, like you said, X is a great one if they're trying to run away. You just secure kill automatically. Not the greatest versus Juggernaut, but that's not who you're really aiming with that Kunkka anyways.
Yeah, this is the last time we saw it was Zai Kunkka hit a 3-man torrent with no setup whatsoever. Then the Universe follow-up came in with a vacuum wall. But one thing is really missing here. They have the same kind of heroes. Darkseer, Razor, Kunkka, gonna say Bane.
Uh-huh.
Yep. The only hero that's missing, though, is the Storm Spirit. mid. That one's been taken away.
Smart.
What other kind of scaling mids are left? There's Invoker, OD.
Quap's still there. Quap's decent
Quap?
versus lineup, I think. Get in, get out. I mean, versus Titan now, it's going to be support Clockwork. You're not too worried about him going in on you. He's going to have to find those levels early with the Titaner playing in the off lane, so I like Quap here.
Reserve time.
I mean, the mid doesn't really matter. This is a lore fight. We got Tide versus Kunkka. I mean, that's the real big deal that we're seeing here today. We all know who won that.
We do?
We do, yeah.
Well, you'll find out soon.
Are you just
Plugging!
Are you just plugging a orgasm right now?
Plugging!
Is that the entire reason you wanted to come on panel?
Got you, dumbasses. Anyway, yeah, so I like that you brought up Invoker. I think that he brings a lot. Especially, I see a lot of teams kind of picking him against the Clockwork, but it's pretty good. Clockwork gets a nice initiation. You get a nice tornado out. You kind of ruin that stuff there. Interested what happened to Shadow Fiend. Where's that hero at? I thought he was good.
He dies a lot.
Oh,
He just gets roamed on, dies a lot, doesn't do anything when you don't have farm. They do ban the Quap out, so Smart's a hero that dominates the late game and the early game. We saw SC, I mean, didn't do great in the early game, came back and was the most farmed hero in the game, so they don't want to give that into Sumail's hands.
Is there space for a Templar Assassin here? It kind of doesn't like Clockwork. I feel like most of the other scaling mids don't like Clockwork though, so you can't just focus on that support.
Yeah, TA is a good hero. That's when we saw them. They dominated IG in that game one with the TA, so.
I had an idea.
Oh god.
You guys ever heard of Outworld Devourer? He's pretty good against Clockwork. Natural Force Staff builder. Huh?
Whoa, you mean that hero I mentioned 30 seconds ago?
Oh, all right. That must have been where I got my idea from. Thank you, Kev.
Always there for you, buddy.
Oh, the crowd is yelling something. I'm not sure. But I hope it's excitement for this panel. Hooray!
Go Slash!
Go us!
And there it is, the TA,
Death
you were right.
Drop!
All right, who's the pick for Newbee?
That's a great question, Greg. What do you think?
I need you to work together and figure out what this last pick is.
Okay, buddy. What do we need? What's the position we're missing here?
Middle?
Is this a mid juggernaut? Could be.
No,
All right,
it's definitely not.
Last mids. I'm gonna say Invoker. You wanna go Invoker?
Let's go Invoker.
Could be a Viper, but okay.
Let us take hands together.
Do you want to pray?
Yes.
Reserve time.
Didn't work.
You guys were supposed to hold that.
Well, we're not gonna hold that. There's a damn audience.
I mean, I'm trying to ruin this panel as much as humanly possible. It really makes my hosting look great by comparison. Thank you.
Thank you. But seriously, what are you thinking, Cap? You think Invoker? You think they're gonna go for that rock, paper, scissors counter of a Viper or maybe even a Venno? Put that Juggernaut mid?
I really like Viper, but
Nobody likes Viper. Except for Bond.
10
Sorry, Mom.
seconds remaining.
I want a hero that doesn't really get kited.
5 seconds remaining.
Who's that? An OD?
Oh!
Wow.
Thank goodness I said it. Fantastic.
Good job.
Thanks, Lex.
You're welcome. I think OD brings a lot here. He's pretty good at doing some saves. As I said before, builds a force staff. It's going to be pretty interesting, though. What do they have to really break that refraction? I mean, not too much. If she gets out of control, she is going to be out of control, blowing these guys up pretty easy.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to focus a lot more on that middle lane, shutting down the TA this game, because, I mean, Razor's going to have, they're going to just put him in the safe lane. He's going to have a way better game. Darkseer's always going to find farm. I think they actually have to focus on Sumail this game. if
That'll
they
make
want
you
a chance.
happy, though, Grant. RTZ Razor. I mean, if they're so focused on shutting down Sumail, it means he's
RTZ
actually
get
going to
out
have
of
a better
control.
game.
Yeah, and I think that, EG is going to take the game because of that. I think they got, and I think they're just going to end up winning this game just straight out of picks.
So, better adjustments. EG take it.
Yeah.
Slacks.
I'm going to go with my boy. I think Ichi's got it. Let's get another double. Dare you. I dare you to go with Newbee, buddy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going the opposite route here. There's no way this happens 2 times in a row.
Fantastic.
All right. Toby and Merlini, please save us from this panel. It's game number 2 of Newbee versus Evil Geniuses.
We're lost. We're completely lost. There is no saving from this. But then, if only I could pause that panel like I paused last game. I got it ready. I have my Potsky ready.
That's great for you, Ben. Let's move forward and not pause our logic, at least looking towards the draft. They're gone back for the Razor again. Didn't work in game 1. The panel seems to think it's going to work in game 2, or at least the EG draft will work in game 2. What do you think?
I think they have heroes that the Razor is going to be a lot better against, like the Queen of Pain. I think like Razor can't really do that much versus Queen. And they also picked it versus Juggernaut. I think Juggernaut also struggles a lot more than a Sven, because Sven has a steroid and a lot of plus damage. Juggernaut, not really so much. Crit doesn't classify.
Yeah, I'm wondering though, like how it's all going to then combine if they're going to get zoned out. We have this KP Tide Hunter. He was very successful on this in day one. You're working with a support Clockwork. How's EG going to play the lanes? We're already having a little bit of a glimpse into the laning maneuver, and I was wondering if they're going to try and match up the Darkseer versus the Tide Hunter. Instead, it actually looks like the Darkseer is going to head north with the Bane.
They don't need the Darkseer versus Tide. I think Razor is one of the best safe lane carries versus a Tide Hunter. You have a ton of plus damage to break through the Kraken, and you're a ranged hero. Kaka. Position 4 Clockwork is mighty popular. Very good at interrupting a Bane, trapping a Darkseer, making some room for your OD.
It's that big sacrificial initiation as well. Like you can jump him in. You don't care if you lose him. If he splits up the fight with EG, then that's kind of all you need. And EG need to really keep everyone together. You want that vac into boat. You then have to rely on the individual control coming out from the Bane for the big problematic heroes, and give Templar, Assassin, and Razor the space to do what they need to do.
Yeah, I think they could do a lot more with Razor. Razor, died twice, I would say, early last game. Gave up First Blood, didn't get a Bounty Rune. There were a lot of things that weren't going well for him. This time he's in a safe lane. He might get the Bounty Rune this time, but at least he won't die from this. Okay, as I say that.
Yeah, KP. A lot of damage can be stolen, but there's not a lot RTZ can do with it. It's just a simple walk off for the Tide Hunter.
But it is a one-on-one. We see the Kuga head atop with the Darkseer and with the Bane. So it is going to be a try at the start, but
I wonder how long that's going to last.
yeah,
Like Kaka comes forward, he wants to change up the creep, so at least he pushes the range back.
he can just burn all their mana with Cogs.
Well, there goes the Sentry Ward down. They'll give it the Vision. Frostbite in with a spin. It's the old classic combination. The Nightmare bouncing around. Universe is low, still on the run. The Iron Shell damage is actually dropping down Kaka. He will be very low. The last attack from Bane will be able to get a revenge. But First Blood, it goes the way of Newbee, but we're not done just yet. Mugi on the run. Zai looking for more damage. Crit's going to deliver it, however. The secondary Brain Sap. And losing the Juggernaut, losing your safe laner, and that was definitely not the plan from Newbee.
They took so much damage from that Ion Shell chasing that far. And these melee heroes, yeah, you have spin to deal with it, but that's once in a while.
This bottom lane, I'm not certain how it's meant to work for KP. This makes more sense when Kaka is going to rotate over. Leaves the Observe Ward behind, understands that Arteezy is very much alone. And if they can keep him close on top of the tower, that's one way to work it. So the battery assault begins. You do not have the cogs just yet. So KP, okay, no gush, nothing like that. So just let it go.
I think the game plan is going to be similar
Mid.
for Newbee.
It's perfect. SC, someone stop that Curry before it dies as well, but the Torrent hits perfectly. An easy combination. Simple Nightmare into Torrent, and then let Samael do the damage, even though Crit does take the kill. He's racked up all 3 of EG's kills, in fact.
Early game going similar to the last game, but I think this time it's a little bit different in that they can actually leave their other cores alone. I think that's one of the big benefits of Razor is that he is very self-sufficient in the lane. It doesn't need a lot of babysitting like Spectre, Luna, some of these other heroes that we expect in the safe lane.
And it's not Razor being forced into this aggro tri-lane where you need to find kills. Like, you're letting the Darkseer Iron Shell do most of that work.
But his CS is not that great. He only has 8 CS relative to the 6 of the Tide Hunter, so surprisingly he's not edging him out too much in that bottom lane.
And it's like he's just trying to focus on zoning out KP, but it hasn't functioned. SC wants to have his little bit of an opportunity, so the imprisonment allows Faith plus Kaka just to roam in and then attack on that mid lane. Samel wants to run, but the cogs will hold him there. The battery assault, the damage keeps coming, and there's no way for Samel to survive. This is almost very reminiscent of that old dual offlane you used to do, the SD as well as the Clockwork. In this case, it's the imprisonment from Astral as opposed to the Shadow Demons.
What a stat. Shout out to Knoxville. 20 gold fed.
It's not Nox, it's production. That's Pimp and the boys who create that stuff.
We can still blame Nox.
Let me just find my Twitter. All right, so Laning is still looking fairly decent for EG. Their CS is still looking good, even though the overall, like 180 gold, the difference early on. We're only 3 minutes in. But there's a lot of movement coming down to that bottom lane. It looks like they're trying to actually have a crack, and in fact they will. It's over towards KP, a quick plasma field with a rotation towards the mid. It's revenge. You want to attack the off lane, you want to bring down Tidehunter. You're going to actually slow down the momentum hero of EG. You're slowing down the Templar Assassin with kill after kill, trying to reduce her net worth, which is now below that of the OD. Not by much, but it is below.
Yeah, the OD doesn't fare that well in the straight one-on-one matchup, but it is great setup for a Cog. It's hard to make position for Clockwork work, but with the 4-second just walk on top of them, set up for a perfect Cogs, and generally you kill all the creeps with the Astral Imprisonment, it makes it much easier for Clockwork spells to take effect.
Start to beg the question then, like, how do you stop this? Like, Templar Assassin, do you just send her into farming up stacks in the jungle?
And it's usually the plan.
Let the Bane try and hold the mid, so if he dies from the combination, at least you don't lose as much, but you get your Fiend Strip earlier.
They can just kill the side lanes, that's what they've been doing. Just run around with the Bane and the Kunkka, an old school combo. But now they've actually split up their supports. It is, as you mentioned, the Bane sitting in the mid to make sure that Sumail doesn't die again, but their combination is way more.
They found Universe. Battery Assault, Frostbite, can't surge away from that, especially when he locked inside the cogs. Really great movement from Newbee. Finding the openings, had the vision as well to let them know when Darkseer was just backing off to get the easy farm.
I like the super active play from Faith. He has been involved in a lot of kills and has not been farming those neutrals and playing the Crystal Maiden very well as a position 5.
Well, it's what he couldn't do in game 1. It's where they were always locked because this aggressive tri-lane of EG had to stand on the lane. This is what they wanted to do in game 1.
Yeah, and I also think the Arcane Aura really enables a Clockwork, so he can just run around and get kills. You don't want to have to keep running back and forth as a clock. It's a big deal for him.
Oh, EG need to try and find that nice control. Kaka. All right, well that's one way. It's just zone out Zai.
He's trying to figure out what the TA is up to. Just need to make sure that she doesn't get a free stack off at all, if at all possible. They can use the Tidehunter, by far the best ultimate I think in this game, to bully that around.
Well, they committed their wards to actually watch for the stack. So the extra ward up on top of the Radiant Ancients. They could have looked in towards the jungle of Radiant instead, like a little bit further to the south. But they're focusing instead on the northern side of the map. Makes it a lot more riskier for Darkseer to move anywhere as well. Well, Omni Slash, crit isolated, goes in for the spin. So Omni Slash, all of them hit before that Nightmare could really try and negate some of the damage out from Moggy.
And the Frostbite to interrupt the cast on the Brain Sap. Small play.
Battery Assault, Arteezy, the cogs, hold him there. KP doesn't have the ult yet. She has to cut through the cogs to get close enough to Arteezy to do some level of damage. The Clockwork Rocket, Arteezy so low, wants to heal up, but it's KP who will end up dying. The damage deal begins. Can they get the Nightmare at least hold Kaka in position? No, the Bane can't reach him, but Arteezy with 112 stolen damage and the Plasma Field finds the kill and punishes the Newbee off lane.
Wow, I was very surprised he was able to survive there. Tidehunter really hurting on those levels. He even picked an early 1 point in Gush so they could go for the kill. But it's just not as clean of a setup as the mid laner.
Might have been a very different story if he had more time to reach like the level 6. That would have been the final bit of damage control to bring down Arteezy.
And already we see some Ancient stacks coming out from EG as they try and buff up Sumail. And a big difference from last game, right? Last game, the pressure was on EG to make the move, but this game, I think the pressure's on Newbee to get more work done because EG's going to be the team stacking and farming Ancients.
Can Newbee actually contest it? Like when TA backs off to go and farm it up?
I think Clockwork needs 6.
Then you can hook shot in and then create issues.
Yeah, or else I think you're just going to be wasting a lot of time. Like she could just back away, and I suppose Tidehunter can think about stealing them, but
intimidation with Ravage may just be enough.
Yeah, but you can't just sit there. They can just scout you out with a trap and just back off. So I think they need to actually be able to take it themselves, but that's not going to happen until Tidehunter hits like maybe level 8 because he doesn't have the max points in Cracking Shield right now to tank up the Ancient.
Faith.
Yeah, they blocked it up with the Observer Ward, so they want to limit this economic game because TA has not shown in lane for a few minutes now. But OD now on top of the CS with much more valuable CS in the mid creeps, not the neutrals. There is more opportunity cost for going to the jungle nowadays.
And his net worth's about 500 in front of the TA. Chris still hoping for his own opportunity in the mid.
Not even close to 6 though.
Top tower is under attack.
But he hits 5 at least. And they're giving him the space. So when Templar Assassin takes this jungle, and Zai, mass defense to try and force this top lane, he knows Omni Slash is available and does not want to risk it. Newbee can cause a lot of issues, but okay, well, Kaka could do the same. Running in close, but again, still no level 6 on the clockwork, so they don't have anything which really allows them to reduce the distance quickly.
I definitely need that before they can start making plays. Tidehunter's still no Ravage skilled up yet. He's hurt.
There's the level 6.
Yeah, just hasn't skilled it up. Maybe thinking that he can just farm with the neutrals and farm with the ancients without really fighting right now. But Arteezy's very large. Level 9 already. It's pretty crazy amounts of farm.
It seems like we're actually going to have a Razor which is effective. A lot more effective. Able to tank up, able to play at great positioning, going for that early 4 stuff.
They really need 4-7 this guy right here. Midas coming out, just what, 18 gold right now? But it's going to be a while before they can actually fight the Razor head on. He is likely going to steal a lot of damage, and I don't think he's going to be able to reverse it down. No Sandy's clips, not even max level on the Arcane Orb on the OD, which would be their main tool to take him down.
Is it worthwhile getting an earlier BKB on the Razor, or is it worthwhile actually finishing up things like Hurricane Pike? I'm thinking mainly because the BKB is going to be perfect against like OD as well as Tidehunter.
I think you're okay with getting Astral. The thing about Astraling the Razor is you get unstable currented, and he still is able to suck a lot of damage, and you still have to run away as the OD. You can't just Astral him and then keep right-clicking people. You still have to back off during the fight, so it's kind of not exactly the same, but it's kind of even similar to Astraling yourself, because you still have to back off the fight. You're still useless for those few seconds that you disable them. Whereas Razor, he still has an Eye of the Storm ticking, and he still gets damage off with unstable current, so it's not even the most effective thing for him. And you don't really care that much if you get Rabbit. I see he's more so worried about getting bursted down with the Omni Slash, but that's why they have both.
Trying to go for the denial on the tower might pay with his life, but Zai just being surged away. Crit's in the neighborhood as well, so 3 heroes ready to fight, but Crit doesn't actually have level 6. But X marks spot, pull him back in, but spin. Wait for it, it's gonna last way too long, but that movement speed, Samael on haste, running underneath the tier 1 tower. No. Is he actually gonna try and duke it out in the tree lines? The torrent's kicking in, it'll be able to connect, so Zai finds the kill on the Juggernaut as Samael couldn't finish the deal.
I like those sort of plays.
Hawkshot is up, they go in, it's right on top of Universe, underneath the tier 1 tower. The orb attacked in from SC, bring all the damage required to find the kill. The battery assault making it almost impossible for Darkseer just to run away.
It's so important for them that the Clockwork is level 6, because he's their main player right now. I think Tidehunter's still trying to recover. KP does like his farm on the offlaner. Sometimes he builds pipe, but I think more so he's been building a little bit more farm-oriented on his offlaners.
He's actually not revealing it too. There's nothing in the quick buy. We don't know if it will be the pipe, if it will be a mech, if it will be a blink dagger.
Even an early 4-step might be good against the Razor and against the TA. It might not be the worst thing for him to go for.
He may need the blink dagger, however, just so he can make sure he gets in range of the Bane if that Fiend script comes off.
That's true. He doesn't usually go for the blink first, however.
He likes the regeneration, especially from the new 4 stuff, makes a lot of sense for the Tidehunter.
Yeah. I think Mech or Hood is more likely. But I mean, Midas right now, there's not really too much fighting. So.
If it was going to go for the mech, you could at least pick up like some of the armor, like some of the regeneration that comes from it.
You run the risk of what happened to EG last game, in that they just don't take fights if you go for team fighting items. So I think he's trying to balance that risk-reward for his farming items right now. Is he going to get punished if he goes for a Midas?
Oh, Fiend script. Well, that is not real. That is a fake. You have fallen for the oldest trick in the book. It was an illusion, and now Arteezy might get caught out. The battery assault. Kaka staying hot on the heels, or in this case, the coattails. Needs a hook shot forward to catch up to Arteezy. Able to do so. Faith and KP still on the way, but that force staff's up. A quick nightmare. The Frost will slow down Zai, letting the ship go. This stun may just be enough space creation for him to get out to safety. KP, well, they have the damage. The torrent won't be able to connect. The rocket flies forward, and it will just be an anchor smash from KP. But you get a conquer. What they really wanted, it was the Razor, and they did not get it.
And Razor went for a force staff first. It saved them in that instance, and it is very useful versus the Clockwork, but they are lacking a lot in damage.
Spin TP time. Just creep skipping out a lot of damage into the tier 2 tower. And Juggernaut knows he cannot be stopped.
Not with the grip on the illusion. So similar build to last game from him, just with the force staff added in between. Yeah. Best against the Clockwork, I would say, but still pretty good chasing down OD.
I'll take that as tribute.
Kaka's still hovering around the mid. 10 seconds till that hook shot's back off cooldown. We still haven't seen that KP Ravage. He hasn't had a good opportunity yet because he hasn't had the good positioning for it.
He's trying to farm his mech. He's realizing that they're fighting a lot.
Well, by taking the Ancients, that'll work. Also doing it before the Templar Assassin can get there. With the tier 1 tower lost on the top lane, they have to start cleaning up these stacks.
I think the armor is very useful versus the Razor and the TA.
Kaka, X marks the spot. Zion wants to drag him back over, able to do so with the boat and the brain sap. The damage is enough and Kaka will fall. Support is still there from Newbee. They brought everybody down to fight this one, apart from the Tidehunter. They kept him farming up the Ancients throughout this.
But Kuga X from the other side of the river. So Newbee know they have a ward somewhere, but they just can't find it. It's on the far southeast side, and that's pretty hard for them to de-ward. That's way outside of the normal area.
Xing again. Samael's not jumping in for this. And you can see Faith wanting to do so. He thinks it's up near the EG flag on their side of the river.
Now mech is almost complete. They just need to wait for it on the chicken, and I think they could take a fight with this. However, now they only have Reserve Ward on the South Ancients. Actually, they're not even going to wait for the mech. He has the money.
They're smoking around. Coming in is the Dire Observer. Well, they're seeing currently the rooted up Samael. So Kaka, hookshot's ready. It's the easiest hookshot ever as well. They jump in, they hold him inside the cogs and quickly into the Omni Slash. But the ship is on the way. But Newbee, they know they're good with no Templar Assassin. There's no burst damage in KP. Lets the Ravage go. Universe not affected by it. He'll have to surge away Zai. So Ravage is blown. They don't find the opportunity they really wanted, but the tier 1 tower is already under siege, and Newbee could just finish the job.
And doing a good job of controlling the Ancients and taking the fight in the right place. A little bit unfortunate with a root creep there. That slow, like maybe if it were a different set of creeps, he would have killed it before they would have come.
Oh, it's easy. The forgotten hero almost, but Kaka hasn't forgotten him, gets in front, gets the cogs off, a quick force staff, gets him outside the cogs, even though the mana will be low. Hookshot still not available for the moment for Kaka. 20 seconds on cooldown, that movement speed from Razor with phase boots, way too fast. Unless this happens, he's got cogs again. If he wants to hold him there, support's rotating over, Faith lets the Nova go.
Maybe if they had an Omni, they could pursue right there, but their catch is terrible.
They also need like freezing field. Like then Faith might have had enough damage to get the kill onto the Razor.
Yeah, they still need to buy some time. Their movements are very inefficient right now because they can't capitalize on anyone after the hookshot is down. But they still have their T1 up. And Newbee have done a fantastic job of taking down the opponent's T1, pressuring their Ancients while keeping up their objectives in their own mid lane. And I think the T1 tower is especially important in this game because of the threat of the Roshan from TA.
There's EG on the hunt again, but again they walk underneath the Obs and Sentry. All this movement from EG is just being watched by Newbee. So no ability to surprise this Newbee line, so they just back up, go back into their farm. The only person they leave in almost a slightly exposed position is Tidehunter, and he's back up almost to his own tier 2 tower in the bottom, just continuously farming up the neutrals. They're getting closer and closer towards that Blink Dagger with his mech. And then the rocket flies right over the top of Crit. Don't know if it actually saw him, because it was just a little bit further north, but with the tier 1 tower being attacked and Newbee being aware of this, they go inside of Roshan. Now the Templar Assassin traps are down, so EG are fully aware of what's going on as the trap is getting de-warded out with the Sentry Ward there. TP's coming over into the Shrine. They have to be ready to fight this one. Ravage, it's still not up for the Tidehunter. He's got 5 seconds before that's there as Arteezy needs a moment. It's not Merlini, relax.
That's really strange that they didn't really use the gush onto the Roshan. I think both of the gushes were blocked by the Lincolns, so it could have potentially been at like maybe 10% less right now, and they maybe could have taken it for free if they were able to coordinate like the Frostbite, but it's not really low enough for Newbee to just take it right now.
All right,
I think
we're
they
ready
all
to
have
go.
Get out of the pit.
Back into the game as Roshan is being killed off. Here comes Yataran. Where's the extra follow-up, however? Kaka just playing sentry wards. He wants to put down the cogs and keep EG out the front of the pit line if it's possible. KP does have that Ravage back up and available now. A quick couple of orbs. SC already stealing up that intel. Now comes the shift with the Torrent combining with the back wall. It hits on both Faith as well as KP, but minimal effectiveness at the moment. Arteezy waiting for the right opportunity. KP lets the ulti go with the spin combination and the hammer drop from the OD. EG lose so much life so quickly. SC is a triple kill. Crit's on the run. He'll be imprisoned up. That may be enough effect just watching him die. 4 heroes go the way of SC. Roshan as well. Newbee. It's like they wanted EG to come. And the welcome mat, the red carpet was there. There was white to start with.
God, Newbee's playing around KP so well. I think in this entire tournament, they've just been fantastic at identifying his vision. Like, look how far forward he is in the team fight. He comes outside of the pit and threatens with a Ravage, and they're all forced to back away from him. And if they come too close, they get 3-man Ravage. If they leave it, then Roshan just gets taken for free. So right at this moment, right after the vacuum boat, he runs to the left side, and they're like, oh God, he's coming. What are we supposed to do now?
Split, trying to get hit by the Ravage, and then they all group up, get hit by the spin, and because SC was able to have a little bit of chip harassment beforehand, that Eclipse actually did even more work for Newbee.
Yeah, that Sandy's Eclipse hurt them so badly, having to group up into that choke.
Yep. And that's the danger zone, right? Like, and how do you deal with that when you're EG? You don't have your BKBs up yet. You're not ready to fight because you went for these 4 staffs. The BKB is obviously now on the list for Arteezy, and the Templar Assassin, she needs to finish her Desolator first before picking up the BKB. Samael still needs the high damage.
They needed a bigger wombo with a vacuum into the boat. That was just vacuum boat into...
well, that's when you initiate. It's like that's when you're meant to put Arteezy on the front lines, right? Like, you got all this farm. He's meant to be our tank through this.
Ideally, but no one wants to get Omni Slash and Ravaged. You're not going to survive from that, and Razor's life is not low enough to the point where he can just tank it.
Very simple kill. SC, they're feeding him more and more now. 6-1-3 onto that OD, taking 5 of his kills in just the last minute.
The early movements by Kaga have just set SCC up for complete dominance.
And look at his positional play. He actually just buys a Blink Dagger. So now he can be the initiator with the imprisonment. KP very patiently waiting in the tree lines as they flank around the back. EG being pincered now by Newbee. Arteezy, 4-staff out. Universe trying to surge him away. The puzzle field kicks out, but nowhere near enough damage to dissuade Newbee from killing him.
I've been the 4-staff saved him a couple times, but as you mentioned before, he needs BKB.
Yep.
But now it's too late. They've lost so many fights. Like, do you really want to go for BKB? I still think they'll lose the fights even if they go for BKB.
Well, you don't really have a choice because you can't take the fights without it.
Yeah, but
or else you live in fear of the Ravage the entire time. The amount of damage the OD's can be throwing at you. Juggernaut is hitting a point where the physical damage is going to rip through you. I don't disagree, but if you don't live, you can't win the fight.
I think you can go for the route of trying to farm out faster than they can kill you, though. I think maybe if like BKB was completely saving the BKB TP and the side lane pushes, then maybe, but...
I can imagine TA going for a build like that for the quick pops, but can you really allow Arteezy to do such a thing? Like last time he went for the Shivas, he went for the Assault Cuirass. These are still very expensive items to get to, and he's losing a lot of his map to farm.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure how he tanks with this. Normally your Razor just so big and beefy to the point where he can just run in and not give a damn, but this game, if he runs in, he just gets ulted even once, I would say he would die.
Radiant's Top tower
Newbee
fallen.
commanding position in game 2. They're already 1 game up in the series. And if they can win this one, you go straight through into the grand final, get yourself a day off, while the other teams have to work hard to fight it out.
Must be nice.
Yeah? Go and enjoy the wonderful sights that is Manila.
Man, I think you've been blessed with this series. So if you got Enigma in the first game, you had a wow moment in the second game. This game, we also have a TA on the Radiant side. And you know what other refraction moment there was? There was a refraction near the T2.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm waiting for it.
I'm just... It's like you're begging for memes. Teasy, he's begging for death. On your knees, execution. Like a Game of Thrones character, he continues to be deleted. And the fact the 3-man wall, maybe Universe can create a glorious fight, but the Frostbite Templar has to control the ship. It needs to create some space, but Surreal SC, he is just so damn strong. On Dragon's Wings, he pushes forward a triple kill for this OD. He is devouring evil geniuses. 1 by 1, they fall.
Yeah, a much different setup from last game. SEC got dominated in the lane last game, but this game with that just a little bit of help.
He's in. He's just going in. Blink forward. Why not? You got the power. He's still got 80 stolen intelligence. No wonder he can 3-hit down heroes. And Newbee want to try and end this. 24 minutes in, Newbee will push into high ground for the first time, and then sees back out there KP with the Ravage, able to isolate at least crit, so he is now down, buybacks available, and EG, they need a fight. They need to win this one. No Ravage is up. They know there's no Eclipse. Newbee don't have their big team fights. EG, they have to do something, and they have to do it now. But who do they do it on? Hook shot forward from Kanka. The Nightmare tries to create a little bit of space, but now it's going to be the dieback from Crit. The boat, it's nice. It's a good combination, but where is that damage? Arteezy trying to desperately steal it from the spinning up Juggernaut. But those orbs, they just keep going and going and going. The damage, SC, you can't repel intel of this magnitude. He is just too big. Faith also, more control for him. This game, it looks like it's over. EG are being found, killed, and it is not even 25 minutes. And Newbee have 2-0'd their way through into the grand final.
And as a wise